On this quiet street in Alexandria, Virginia, a gay couple in their 30s is about to see the worst in their neighbors. A husband and wife who continuously park over the line of their space, according to the partners. When the couple is at home watching TV, they hear a loud noise outside, and their security camera catches what comes next. They claim that the neighbor has crashed into the planter that acts as a marker for their space. And the couple decides to confront the neighbor.
Away? Oh, of course we're away.
What seems like a petty dispute over a parking space suddenly transforms into something far more personal.
Come on over here. Come on. You come over here, Neil.
Fearing this dispute could get more heated, the couple calls the police.
We have somebody over here. He is asking us right now. No, this is the First Amendment.
The neighbor seems to think his right to free speech allows him to hurl homophobic insults at the couple.
First Amendment. Honey.
Hearing the commotion, the neighbor on the other side, Julia, starts recording and steps outside into the firing line.
Hey, you homophobic! I have everything on video.
Oh, yeah, you whore!
We're Christian. We're Methodist.
We have nothing against we love it. These guys are ass.
Get back in your house, you homophobic before I call the police.
Julia has been best friends with the gay couple for over 2 years and has no problem confronting the neighbors herself.
What's your issue? What's your issue?
I'm trying to go to bed. Can you stop harassing our neighbors and be
No,
quiet?
they harass us.
The neighbors claim their problem is solely over parking, and they don't have an issue with the couple's sexual orientation.
And we hate LBG. No, we love LBG.
After the altercation, the police charged the neighbor with disorderly conduct and a fine of $1,000. The couple takes their neighbor to court to obtain a no-contact order, and the judge grants it. A month after the dispute, the neighbors move out of the house, and new ones move in. The new neighbors do a better job of parking in their space and are a lot less vocal about it. For some, the rural way of life offers more space and an escape from the big city. 35-year-old Ryan Scott finds the perfect place to live and run his antiques business in Oglesby, Illinois.
It was everything that I had been looking for. It had the big barn sitting on it with the house. So I was selling my stuff out of the barn.
However, the property is sold to a new family, and according to Ryan, the new owner chooses not to extend the lease as they want to convert the home into a vacation house. With little time to move out, Ryan alleges the new landlord starts to make things difficult for him.
Can I help you? You look like you're walking in my yard down to the house.
Your yard?
Ryan claims he can't move out before the 6 weeks given by the landlord and ends up overstaying his lease. According to the new property owner, Ryan doesn't pay his rent, and an eviction notice is filed with the court.
I spent 6 months getting all that stuff there, getting established. There was absolutely no way that I was going to be able to move out in such a short period of time.
Ryan alleges that he feels pressured to leave the property sooner. And one day, the landlord's oldest son gets confrontational, so Ryan starts documenting it.
Did you miss me, Cupcake?
Not really.
What's up, bitch?
Nothing much, man.
No?
Immediately, I know that things are just about to go south. And it's like, okay, now I have to deal with this guy.
When you get the out?
I'm trying.
Yeah?
I really am.
Quick enough. I want you out, buddy.
Soon after, the son is joined by his brother and their father, the landlord.
That's what we're doing.
Dad, I'm having a conversation. I'm a grown man. Leave me alone.
Here's the deal. Be a man. Be a man about this,
You
bro.
get out by the court date, and everything's done.
While the landlord gives Ryan 6 weeks to vacate before the eviction hearing in court, his oldest son suggests a fist fight might settle things sooner.
You get out. No, Dad, let me, just 1 second. Hey, I promise you, I've never in my life jumped anyone. I wouldn't do that. You give me 5 minutes of sparring, and we won't
That's
come
not
back.
what I'm talking about. That's not reasonable.
5 minutes one-on-one, me and you, to have a little sparring
That's-
session.
bro.
I'm not gonna kill you. I'm just gonna you up.
He don't want us.
1 minute.
Come on, let's go.
1 minute.
As soon as I hear that, my heart starts to race.
Horrified, Ryan tries to back away in fear as the son's anger intensifies.
Please be confrontational with me.
I like,
Please.
Ryan, you need to step
Shut
back.
the up. Suck my dude. I'll do what the I want. You gonna stop me? No, you're not.
I'm not,
What?
I'm not, stop,
What?
please step
Stop
away.
what? I didn't touching you.
I don't,
Step away from what?
You're in my
What?
face.
I'm in your what?
I
I'm
feel
in your
very
what?
threatened.
I'm walking. I'm having a nice leisurely stroll, you coward. Call the cops. Lock the door.
It's that feeling on the inside, that tightness in your stomach, where you know that you may be in danger here.
Make sure you lock the door.
Please leave me alone.
Call the cops. Lock the door.
Ryan retreats back to his house, while the landlord and his sons continue to shout before driving away.
Finally caught up to you, the system. They're gonna catch up to you, buddy.
Ryan claims he starts to pack his belongings and tries to get out as quickly as possible. However, a week later, Ryan tells the police an altercation occurs and shots are fired.
I came back from my friend's house. I pull in the driveway and I realize that the house is completely open. I put the car in reverse and I get about halfway through the circle drive, and the eldest son, he opens fire and fires 3 rounds through my vehicle. My leg is bleeding profusely and my clothes are soaked in blood, and now it starts to hurt. And now I realize, oh, I've been shot.
Astonishingly, Ryan manages to drive himself to the hospital where medics treat his gunshot wounds. And they have good news.
So I get to the hospital, doctor looks at the bullet wound, and they say, there's an exit wound, so it came out. We don't have to do surgery. I'm about the luckiest on the planet right now.
It's unclear what provokes the altercation. The police arrest the oldest son, 39-year-old Thomas J. Reynolds. He's charged with aggravated battery and discharge of a firearm and is released on a $10,000 bond. Reynolds pleads not guilty to the charges and is awaiting trial. Ryan moves his antiques out of the house before the court hearing for the eviction and moves in with his friend until he can find a new place.
In the next neighborhood that I seek out and choose to live, I will do my due diligence and find a neighbor that treats people with respect.
Doorbell cameras capture hours and even days of mind-numbingly dull footage, but sometimes they see stuff that's just plain wrong. In British Columbia, Canada, a neighbor's app alerts her to some movement on the front porch, and she's alarmed to see a stranger rummaging through her mailbox. But just as she thinks they're leaving, things take a creepy turn. Wait, what? Yes, they licked the doorbell camera, and despite the DNA sample left behind, police are unable to trace them, so the mischief maker and their tongue are still at large. If that seems like such strange behavior, it can only happen once. Think again. In Canton, Georgia, this young kid on his bike seems so innocent. Until he decides to give his own special twist to the classic prank of Ding Dong Ditch.
I just liked it!
Good day, neighbors. And then there's this guy who approaches a home in Salinas, California at 2 a.m. as the family sleeps inside and proves that he is the maestro. He's licking this intercom into shape and taking his sweet time. 45 minutes to be exact. The next day, the man is apprehended and charged with prowling. So, it looks as if he is well and truly licked. And the neighbors can relax until the next doorbell lover comes along. 3 young teens walk down the hall, one stopping to admire a package on a neighbor's doorstep. Another teen notices the door cam across the hall. The boys are gone for only moments before one teen walks back and nonchalantly checks his phone, blocking the neighbor's door cam. And when he leaves, voila, the package is gone. The heist seems to go off without a hitch, and all those seconds of planning pay off. Until later, when these teens are confronted with the footage and find out their neighbor's doorbell cam doesn't shoot in a vertical aspect ratio, but rather in widescreen and in color and with clear sound. These teen actors lose points for their poor performances. And for breaking the first rule of show business. Know your audience.
Yeah.
That knocking is the landlord. Since moving in, Christian claims his landlord is coming over constantly, always unannounced, rapping on the door at all hours. And often running away before he answers. Sometimes she tries striking up a conversation.
You want to talk?
No, I don't. I already asked you to leave me alone. This is harassment at this point. I'm recording this.
The landlord, a woman in her 50s, and Christian have had a recent falling out over money. Christian did some handiwork for his landlord and claims she underpaid him. Everything comes to a head one night when the landlord tries entering the house through the cellar and is surprised to learn the door from the cellar into the kitchen won't open. Because Christian has locked her out.
Unlock my door.
Can we help you? Why the are you in our house?
What are you talking about? This is my...
Why the are you in our house?
Christian, why are you talking to me like that?
I was thinking in my brain, like, if I catch her in my house, I gotta use this in court to get my rent money back because she's violating something.
Many states do have laws against landlords entering a tenant's home unannounced. But unfortunately for Christian, Maryland isn't one of them. And his landlord is not about to walk away.
Why are you in my house?
This is my house. When did it become your house, Christian?
It may be the landlord's house, but as a paying tenant, Christian believes he has an expectation of privacy. The landlord has had enough and calls the police.
They went calling 911, threatening me.
I recorded it, so go ahead and lie. I'm like, you know what? This cannot happen. Get the out of my house.
Christian finally opens the door and readies for battle.
What are you doing in our
Don't
house?
threaten me.
Don't
lock
hands
me
out
in
of
the
my head.
basement.
Get your hands out of my face. He was like, don't you threaten me. And I'm just laughing like, what do you mean threaten? Like, were you there? I recorded everything, so I don't know what you mean by threatening.
Yeah. You're cursing me?
Yeah, I can say you. I can say you in my own house.
Yeah, and you can lock me into my basement.
There's no reason for you being in our house without permission.
Christian refutes her claims and continues to insist that she's there unannounced.
That tenant has no idea you're here. That tenant has no idea you're here. That tenant's at work.
True.
He doesn't know you're here. Nobody knows you're here.
That's not true.
You're over here doing whatever the hell you want in our house.
True. That's not true.
Hey, does anybody know that Robin's here right now?
Not true. You're not a lawyer.
Does anybody know Robin's
You're
here?
a lawyer.
Upstairs, Christian questions the other tenants.
Did anybody know she was gonna be here? What are you doing in our house? She just called the cops on me because I locked the door to my own basement.
The second neighbor is new, having just signed his lease that morning, although he may be having second thoughts.
This is starting to be a hostile environment for me, and I just got here. That's a lease breaker. I didn't sign up for this. I didn't sign up.
I didn't sign up for this. No one signed up for this. Who in their right mind would sign up for a house just to be harassed by the landlord and then pay for the next month to have it happen again?
As tenants' tempers boil, the landlord simmers down.
Don't do that right here, because I'm going to start getting back.
The landlord retreats, and the battle seems won. But the night is far from over for Christian.
The recording stops, and the cops actually come 30 seconds later. So they arrested me right there for false imprisonment, threatening, and I went to jail that day in Baltimore City. One of the worst experiences I've ever had.
Christian is released within 24 hours and is eventually cleared of criminal charges, thanks in part to his footage.
What are you doing in our house?
Don't threaten me.
Don't get your
lock
hands
me
out
in
of
the
my head.
basement.
Get your hands out of my face.
And yet, after all he's been through, Christian still lives at the same house, with the same landlord, but with a new plan.
As of right now, I refuse to pay rent. I'm gonna stay here until the sheriffs come because she's not gonna use this space to make money. So I'm gonna stay my ass here until the very last minute. She's not gonna get rid of me that fast.
Looks like this neighborhood war is far from over.
I didn't sign up for this. I didn't sign up.
I didn't sign up for this.
In Longview, Washington, a neighbor starts a devious game involving the local police and a professional video game player who is broadcasting live from his computer camera.
There's 62 people watching me right now.
That's fine.
Mr. Big, as he's known in the gaming world, live streams himself playing games to hundreds of followers all over the country. And the ones online now are watching Mr. Big argue with the Longview police over a noise complaint made by one of his neighbors. One viewer writes, "The cop just wanted his name, and none of this would have happened, man."
I'm in the right. I can do what I have to do.
You're in the right. You're standing in my home,
Yes, I
and you
am.
have not been invited, officer.
As their conversation gets more heated, one of Mr. Big's neighbors walks by the room.
The
This
same
guy was
thing.
taking pictures of me, and I feel like he's here to harass me. Can you please tell this individual to leave? Yeah. I told you somebody's taking pictures of me. That was the guy doing it.
Okay. Let's go here, okay?
Just 10 minutes earlier, Mr. Big was playing a video game called Infestation for his 62 viewers, but those 62 are now watching live as Infestation turns into incarceration.
You guys are taking me out of view. I'm doing nothing wrong.
Some viewers comment on how Mr. Big should be handling this. With one writing, no one likes it, but treat them with respect and they will cut you loose. But turns out, this gamer just got gamed by his own neighbor. Meet Benjamin. Benjamin is the one who called in the noise complaint and the one who waits for Mr. Big to be escorted out by the police. And now the one making an outrageous grab for Mr. Big's things before making a quick exit. But Benjamin is greedy and comes back again less than a minute later. In total, he makes off with over $700 in valuables, which include Mr. Big's gaming headset, shoes, and a phone. Smaller items that are easier to conceal and resell, which is why he shows little interest in the computer or the computer cam that continues to broadcast his every move to all of Mr. Big's 62 viewers, who are now calling the police. Soon, it's game over for Benjamin Frostad, who's arrested and charged with 2 counts of felony burglary. And Mr. Big, even though the neighbor complaint is considered a sham, he is still charged with excessive noise. But after serving his 80 hours of community service, Mr. Big is back in the game. A staple of the fall months is seeing leaves drop from trees in neighborhoods all across the United States.
1, 2, 3, go.
But when the leaves start to pile up, someone has to be responsible for sweeping them away. And in a trailer park in Bay City, Michigan, a woman has taken it upon herself to get in the way of another woman trying to clean up the neighborhood with a leaf blower.
Can I do my job, please?
The woman with the leaf blower has a legitimate reason to be there. She's been hired by the property managers to clear the community's streets.
I'm trying to get the leaves out of the road.
The neighbor in purple came out when she saw the woman moving traffic cones in the street and thought she was doing something to mess with her car. And from out of nowhere, she attacks.
Get away from my car! The car's for my daughter!
Without warning, the enraged neighbor charges the woman behind the camera, striking her multiple times before knocking her to the ground.
Wanna go, bitch?
What you're seeing now is a view from the phone, knocked into a pile of leaves. But just out of the camera's view, the irate neighbor is still attacking her victim and actually knocks her to the ground. The woman is eventually able to struggle free from her attacker and calls the police. When they arrive, authorities review the footage and document the victim's injuries. The woman who attacked is promptly served an eviction notice from the trailer park and is arrested by Bay City PD for assault and battery. As of this recording, her case is still ongoing. It's the afternoon, and everyone's trying to get home from school. But for neighbors on this block in Brooklyn, New York, rush hour takes on a whole new meaning. After stealing a school bus from an unlocked yard, the driver is determined to make a clean getaway, regardless of what's in front of or behind him. Luckily, there are no kids along for the ride. Now trapped in gridlock, neighbors try to keep the bus from moving any further as police race to the scene. With both police and neighbors climbing over cars and running down the block to try to stop the chaos, the bus manages to ram its way past the roadblock, racing further into the neighborhood. With the bus now gone in a puff of smoke, neighbors come out into the street to inspect the damage left behind.
Oh my God. Damn, son. I got everything. Smash that. He moved that bitch. I'm trying to go back to jail. He done hit every car on the block. Look at this. They chased him. I see mad cops.
After hitting nearly a dozen cars, the suspect crashes the bus a few blocks later. He's arrested on several charges, including grand larceny and reckless endangerment.
Look at this.
2 people, including 1 officer, suffer minor injuries and are treated at the scene.
I'm glad I pulled to the sidewalk. He did everybody car, yo.
And for all the neighborhood kids hoping for a day off, a brand new bus is sent the following morning, so no one misses a day of school.
Wow.
Malvern, Arkansas is a small, friendly town. And when 37-year-old Serena Saylor moves into the area to be closer to family, she decides it will be a good place to put down roots, so she buys a 2-bedroom home.
I'm living in this really peaceful neighborhood. My house is incredibly special to me, especially having grown up very low income, to be able to get to the point where I was able to buy a home on my own.
That's my cat.
After 5 happy years, a neighbor moves in.
All I'm really noticing is that he's home all the time. If I was to describe him, I'd say he's just like a really rough-looking average Joe. He had like a buzz cut. The only thing dividing property was a fence line that belonged to the neighbor. I mean, I would see him in his backyard and he would see me in mine, but I'm a fairly private person. Up until everything started getting weird, I don't even know if I said more than 2 words to this guy.
However, one day Serena sees something strange in her backyard, and from that day on, she starts making videos and sharing them online for support.
So I'm a little concerned right now. In fact, I'm shaking. I looked out my window and I see this and I'm like, I couldn't believe it. Put up this fence, he cut the wire and put this other one in that has access to my yard. Why? I'm legitimately scared. Why did he do this?
Serena is not exactly sure where her property line is, as she doesn't have her own fence. However, she decides not to confront the new neighbor, as she's worried how he may react. But soon things get even more creepy.
I haven't been outside since I recorded that video hours ago. I did hear the neighbor outside earlier. I did not look outside. And gate's wide open. A roll of toilet paper. What? I'm documenting this gate being open. I'm closing it, and I'm going to see if I have a lock. With the gate being open, with that toilet paper roll there, I knew he must have come onto my property. This was definitely very purposely opened, because that did not just magically fall open. I do happen to have a lock, so here we go. I'm trying not to overreact, but at the same time, I am concerned.
With the gate locked, Serena feels more secure. But later that night, she becomes aware of something outside on her back porch, and the only way onto her porch is through her backyard.
I don't keep my porch lights on. There's no other lights on in the house. I'm in my room, and all of a sudden, I hear my wind chimes. It was not a windy night, breezy, nothing. They're very deliberately being rung, which scares me. My heart starts pounding, because I just don't know what is going on or what to expect.
Serena goes to the door terrified of what may be outside.
All those thoughts go through my head of I could be opening this to someone with a knife, a gun. I don't know what I'm opening this up to.
So she grabs her gun for safety and goes to the door, gripped with fear.
What are you doing on my porch? Get off my porch.
Really?
Get off my porch. You opened the gate onto my property.
It's my gate. You put a lock on it.
My property goes to your fence line. I'm not gonna shoot you. Get off my property right now. Get off my property. Get off my property right now. You look like you already did. Stay off my property.
I did feel good about the fact that I could get him off my property and that he left, but it was very short-lived because I knew this fight wasn't over.
In the next few weeks, Serena's neighbor continues to trespass on her property.
Will you please get off my property? You're not supposed to be over here. Don't ever come on my property again!
Serena installs an 8-foot-high fence so her neighbor can't invade or even see into her backyard.
I has a fence.
But there's a gap in the fence between their properties that her neighbor is exploiting.
My crazy neighbor was coming through that gap, and that's how he was accessing my backyard so easily still. Why are you on my property? Please get off my property. You've already had an official warning from the police. So I put up a barrier to protect that. He kicked over that barrier.
Serena is terrified as her neighbor is carrying a stick.
That's when I called the police and he got an actual trespass charge. And the next night, he kicked in my front door in the middle of the night.
This time, the neighbor goes round the front of the house and kicks Serena's front door until it's damaged. Serena is sleeping, so she doesn't record the vandalism and only wakes up to see him running away. However, her mother, who is staying with Serena to make her daughter feel safer, films the aftermath.
There's no way to even lock it now? No. Oh, great. That was probably the scariest thing. 2:40 in the morning, and all of a sudden you just hear this shattering sound.
After this incident, the neighbor is arrested and charged with criminal mischief and assault. He's currently awaiting trial. Serena takes out a restraining order against her neighbor, so she's more confident he will not trespass again.
My neighbor apparently thought that I would make an easy victim and an easy target, but he definitely chose incorrectly.
And to make doubly sure, she fixes the gaps in the fence.
I am a badass woman. I'm not gonna lose what I have worked for so many years to someone like him.
There are neighborhood beefs.
What? Have you been throwing these in my yard? No.
And then there are neighborhood wars. 22-year-old student and Pittsburgh native Maya Nickens knows all too well about the latter after her seemingly friendly and longtime neighbor does the unexpected.
The neighborhood I live in is a cul-de-sac that is extremely secluded. For the most part, it is as quiet as a church. I actually grew up here, so I know everyone, I know their kids, we all went to school together, we all played together.
But while attending an online college class after a day full of work, her peaceful neighborhood turns ugly.
So I got home about 5 minutes before my class started. Hurry up, parked my car, run in the house. About an hour and a half later, and my neighbor drives up. Her van is in front of my car, both looking at each other. And she starts laying on her horn for about 5 minutes.
Maya's car is parked legally, but the neighbor oddly has issues with her parking job.
I look out the window. Why is she laying on her horn like this? And then she stopped, walked down her driveway, disappeared for maybe 2 minutes. And I just felt in my soul something was wrong. And she starts to walk up with that flat shovel. I immediately started to panic because I had no idea what this lady was gonna do. And takes the first swing at my windshield and screams, "Get your car!" And continues to land about 7, 8, 9 blows to the windshield, hits the front bumper, hits the sunroof. Get your car! It felt like I was in a nightmare. The only thing I could think to do was call the police because I've never been in any type of situation like this before. I've never even gotten a speeding ticket, so I didn't know what to do. And then my mother came downstairs out of her bedroom and opened up the front door. And I'm like, Mom, I need you to shut the door now.
The unprovoked and violent attack causes over $10,000 of damage to Maya's treasured vehicle.
I was filled with rage. Something I wanted my whole life, worked from the ground up, 18 years old. This was something I held as my prized possession, being destroyed with every swing by this lady. I could not stop crying because all I thought about was how am I going to get to work to support myself if I don't have a vehicle? This vehicle has opened so many doors for me in my life, and it was just taken away.
Thankfully, Maya's insurance company covers the $10,000 in damages. Her neighbor is charged with 2 misdemeanor counts and ordered to attend anger management classes. What's more, The attack still leaves Maya uneasy.
I don't go outside anymore unless I'm leaving. They glare at us when we're outside. Family's been here for 23 years and we're here to stay. This is our home, this is our neighborhood, and we are not gonna let some people make us feel like we're unwelcomed in our own home. And if they come on our side of the property, we will call the police and have them for trespassing.
I just bought my house in March of 2020. The first time I met Maria, she just kind of walked over like somebody who kind of owned the neighborhood and said, "Hi, so you're my new neighbor." I was like, "Yeah, hi."
I'm the kind of person who loves to get to know people. So I am that person who will go out of my way to make you a friend.
Once she settles in, Amber looks into renovating her bathroom, but has no idea where to start.
I was looking for recommendations from people on Facebook who had used a contractor to say, "I used this person, they did a great job, here's their number." Jordan, the woman that owns Colorado Dream Homes, got back to me really quickly. And when I showed her my Pinterest picture, she was like, "Oh yeah, we can do that."
The owner tells Amber the project can be done quickly for around $9,000.
I was told a week to max, and it ended up being 5 or 6. So it was kind of getting frustrating. I get that, life happens, and so I was trying to be really understanding.
But when it's finally finished, all that additional time doesn't equal additional quality.
I walked in and I looked at the tile work. I physically felt my heart sink into my stomach. It all looked like someone just threw it together and they were guessing on what to do. And then on Friday, she sent me the final invoice and she just started hounding me. It was, "You need to pay by the end of the day." And I just kept saying, "I'm at work. I'm not paying you until I get home and see it." And she said, "Are you refusing to pay?"
The following morning, Amber's neighbor notices the contractor's truck parked out front and texts her.
Maria had been at my house the night before, and I had mentioned that I kind of had an uneasy feeling. And then I see that I have a message from Jordan saying, "We're at your house to repossess our labor and our materials." So I immediately called Maria.
Maria rushes next door and is shocked at what she sees.
He started swinging and I started recording.
We put weeks into this, thousands of dollars into this.
I was really scared of whatever was going to happen.
This is my property. I have receipts for everything.
I do understand that you... Sir, please stop. Please stop.
Is somebody gonna pay me?
That's not taking back your stuff. It is our stuff. This is how we need to take it back because we solidly built the construction. Unfortunately, so it just fall off.
I'm more than happy to deal with the police. More than happy. More than happy.
He could have easily taken that sledgehammer and swung it at me. It was absolutely frightening.
No contractor in the state of Colorado will fix that. When they found out I took it back because you refused to pay me. No one.
We were all just in a state of shock and about what had just taken place.
Terry Gregory and Jordan Cazares are later arrested and charged with burglary and criminal mischief.
I'm more than happy to deal with the police. More than happy.
Both are currently out on bond and awaiting trial. They have released a statement claiming they were simply repossessing Amber's shower for non-payment and had no intentions of property damage or intimidation.
I had this video of them doing this. I certainly did not want this to happen to anybody else. So I posted it on a contractors group on Facebook.
No contractor will fix that.
It definitely crossed my mind that posting this could result in more retaliation. But I just felt like the good neighbor thing to do is to tell your neighbors, do not hire these people. They are dangerous people.
Disgusted at Terry and Jordan's actions, local contractors offer to fix Amber's destroyed bathroom at no cost. Even more valuable, the entire experience has made Maria and Amber more than just neighbors.
Our friendship has definitely deepened in a variety of ways. I look forward to many more years of having her as my neighbor.
My biggest fear was having crappy neighbors, and I actually ended up with a really, really awesome neighbor.
DeKalb, Illinois. It's 2 a.m. A man who appears to be drunk leaves a neighborhood restaurant and is now in his car about to drive home with a woman in the front passenger seat.
I don't know, but I'm gonna record this in case he's drunk. He is drunk as you can tell just by looking at him.
Just moments earlier, the man recording this video, who lives next door to the restaurant, claims he witnessed neighbors unsuccessfully try to stop the driver from getting into his SUV.
Oh, hell no.
Hell no, man.
Yeah, this dude's pissed ass drunk. Look, he can't even get out the parking lot.
Barely managing to get out of the parking lot, the driver is now veering towards oncoming traffic.
Oh my God.
Concerned neighbors rush to the scene of the accident to help the victims of the crash.
You stupid drunk. I got that on camera too. You drunk piece of. You're a scumbag, you.
Hey, no, bro. Come on, man.
Are you okay?
My bad.
Here, record this. Just stand back and record this.
The man recording this video hands off his camera to another concerned neighbor so he can help the driver who was struck head on.
I think you're okay. I think you're just a little shook up. Okay, here, get out of the car. Yeah, get out of the car. Come on. Come on, come on.
Thankfully, the woman is wearing her seatbelt and the car's airbags deployed.
Here, step out of the car. I don't want it to catch on fire or anything like that. I think you're okay.
You okay?
Here, step over here.
She's lucky to be alive, as are all those involved in this crash.
My bad, bro.
After getting her to safety, the neighbor confronts the drunk driver and is concerned for the condition of the woman passenger who remains inside the car.
My bad, bro.
No, you're an idiot. You're a piece of shit. I hope you go to jail. You're a scumbag. Are you okay, ma'am? Are you okay? Get the out of the way. You need to move so I can see if she's okay. Get the back. You're making me nervous. Are you okay? Here, you get out of the car. Can you climb across? Hey, did you call the police? Okay, I think she needs an ambulance.
Where do you live?
Right here. I heard it from inside my house.
That's talk, bro.
You okay sitting there? You're not gonna move? Sure. All right, I guess she's all right.
We need an ambulance.
Yeah, oh, here's the police right here.
I'm good.
No, you ain't good. You're going to jail.
I don't care.
Just doing it.
Sure, she good. Is my girl good?
I guess. That's really weird that you would question that now before your drunk ass got in the car and drove. I saw you get in the car.
Police, firefighters, and paramedics soon arrive on the scene and provide medical assistance to the injured victims. Both women are treated for minor injuries and brought to a local hospital for further evaluation, while police put the slurring driver through a sobriety field test, which he fails miserably. DeKalb police charge him with a DUI over .08, and a failure to yield turning left. The driver is fortunate he didn't kill anyone, including himself. A sobering reminder to everyone: never drink and drive, and stop your neighbor if they try to do so. In an upscale Orlando neighborhood, twin brothers Antoine and Antonio Harris are trying to cut their client's lawn. But a furious neighbor 2 houses down is close to attacking them, and they don't know why.
Come on! Hey, can you get this lady? Thank you. Don't touch me. I'm telling you, don't touch me. It's Corona.
I ain't touching you.
She kind of backed up, and then we took a couple steps back.
Have a blessed day, man.
Yeah, you bitch.
All right, have a blessed day.
It seemed the more we told her to have a blessed day, she was just getting more fired up. You can't hear it, but I was like, bro, she finna say the N-word, so get ready.
Unfortunately, Antonio's prediction is accurate.
Yeah, you bitch. Yeah, you bitch.
Don't get me wrong, I bit my tongue. I wanted to sit there and say this and say that, but in the back of my mind, my mom would have been like, Andy, you wrong for that.
I'm real sentimental. I just didn't let it get to me, but it hurts. It do hurt. It hurts to anybody.
Finally, another neighbor intervenes, giving the twins a chance for a quick getaway.
You're disturbing me.
Am I disturbing you, you bitch? Yeah, you bitch.
Trust me.
Yeah. Bitch.
You just keep repeating the same. You can't tell me anything.
She was arguing with the guy next door.
I'm asking you nicely.
Oh, yeah!
And that gave us an open window to try to get our stuff loaded up and get up out of here.
She continues to berate them, even as they are leaving. And it turns out the woman isn't out for just their blood.
Oh, beat your ass. Come over here!
She's out for everybody's, including her neighbor with the blonde hair, who starts recording her after the landscapers leave.
Come over here, you
She went to jail.
The blonde-haired neighbor calls the police, not for her name-calling, but because she turns violent, throwing red paint and Greek yogurt all over the neighbor's car and bashing in his back window. She's arrested for battery and destruction of property as she continues to curse out anyone who will listen. And although the twins never see her again during their weekly visits, they still hold compassion for her.
She definitely got some issues. All we can do is pray for her.
The brothers also hold the same views on how to deal with racist abuse in the future.
Like me and my brother always say, our favorite thing is turn the other cheek.
Just turn the other cheek, kill them with kindness, and walk away.
To me, it's not worth it. The consequences, I think, gonna be way more than what you think of because you're in the heat of the moment.
And because they are able to keep their cool under such heated circumstances,
Have a blessed day.
these landscapers are a cut above the rest.